You're growing, you're hiring, you're making decisions on new team members. If you're like me, it's one of the least favorite things you have to do as an entrepreneur. You post an ad, you have some interviews, and you hire somebody that you've basically only known for an hour. Basically, you only know a little bit about this guy you just hired. They may or may not be a great tech, or worse, they may be a terrible fit for your culture and act like a cancer on your team.
Welcome to the IT Provider Network. Are you a managed service entrepreneur wanting to take your business to the next level? Do you excel in IT but feel your business management could be better? Join Terry Rossi, where every episode he shares the skills, tips, and tricks that helped him to build a successful worldwide business.
Today, we're going to talk about some great ways to improve your hiring process and get the right people in the right seats at your company. In episode 9 of the IT Provider Network, I'm going to share with you some of the tools and processes that I use to search for great candidates. Then in episode 10, we'll talk about interviewing and testing. And finally, in episode 11, we'll talk about some great employee onboarding tips to get your new hires settled in and feeling like they're part of the team. Before I get into the content of the show today, I wanted to give a special shout out to my team at PixITech. We just made the MSP Mentor 501 list for the 5th consecutive year, and that wouldn't have been possible without a great team. So thanks to everybody at PixITech. I want to talk a little bit about job descriptions. Finding a good hire starts with a good job description, and you need to tailor that into a great job advertisement. I would recommend that if you're hiring for an existing position, that you analyze your existing job and the people that are in it to see what their roles are, the requirements of the job, and the qualifications of the individual are. Then you can roll that into a formal job description if you don't already have one. If you're starting from scratch and you're in the U.S., take a look at the U.S. Department of Labor Career One-Stop website. They have an online job description creator that'll give you a good editable start on your job description. You basically just put in a job title and a location, and the tool will spit back a job description that you can edit each one of the sections, save it online, and make a copy for yourself. I'll put a link to this website in the show notes at the itprovidernetwork.com/9. In my own company, I use a supercharged version of a job description. We call it an employee strategic plan, and we use it to work with each one of our employees so that everyone involved knows what is expected of them. We also use it to let the individual team members' plans flow up into department plans, divisional plans, and finally into our corporate plans. This way, everyone's driving in the same direction. The ESPs include goals, responsibilities, and qualifications just like normal job descriptions, but they also add some other additional components. The first one is time allocation. So how much of your job is going to be spent doing what kinds of tasks? That lets the employee know what we're expecting from them. It includes a section for their career path. So what are we going to put into the game as far as training and where do we see them moving? And then what do we expect? So what do we expect from the employee? What should the manager or what should the employee expect from the manager? So take a look at that. See if that might be something that could help you. Once you have that, you're ready to start creating a great job advertisement. You know, one of the things we have around our office is someone is always selling someone. You know, I always think about that when a salesman calls me or we're in an interview, somebody's selling someone, and you need to know whether you're the buyer or the seller. This is your first chance to sell your company and your position to any potential candidates, so you really want to make it shine. And before you start writing that job advertisement, I suggest you get your head on straight. Unlike the job description that was written for a position, the job advertisement should be written for just one person, the person that you want to select your company and apply for the job. If you think of this as any other ad, you should strive to write it using proven advertising techniques. The one I like is called the AIDA method. AIDA is AIDA, and it's an acronym that stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. AIDA, attention, interest, desire, and action. There's many articles about AIDA on the internet, so you can Google it and do a deep dive, but I'll break it down real quick for you here. A, attention. You can't get a good candidate if you can't get them to click on your advertisement. So you need to capture their attention right in the beginning of the ad. This starts with the job title or the posting title, whatever you want to call it. Make sure it's written in such a way that you get the most candidates to click on it and start to read. Simple. Interest. This is where you need to start building interest in your position. I always write my job advertisements as if I'm speaking to one candidate and telling them directly about the position. For example, I use statements like, you'll be helping our customers do X, Y, and Z, or you'll work with a team to make changes at our customer by doing A, B, and C. Put the candidate in your company when you write. Make them feel like they're already working for you. Do this in the interest section of your advertisement. The next part of ADA is D, desire. This is where you need to move from the candidate's mind into their hearts. You need to build real desire to work for your company and for them to be in this role. You need to appeal to their personal wants and desires. Start painting a picture for them. Again, remember to speak directly to them. Use statements like, at our company, you're going to enjoy 3 weeks of paid time off, have a company car, and the freedom of a flexible schedule. Or something like, working with our company, you'll have top-of-the-line equipment, a new cell phone of your choice, and the ability to work from home. Really pull on their heartstrings. Try to really make them want to work for your company. And the last part of ADA is A, for action. This is a call to action, just like you would have in any other advertisement. And you need to have that in your job advertisement as well. You only want one call to action. Don't confuse the candidate by trying to send them all different places. The call to action for your job advertisement should be getting the candidate to apply. So make it easy for them, but also make it efficient for you. And I'll give you some pointers on making this process as smooth as possible in just a few minutes. So now you have your job description, you have your job advertisement. Now you're ready to post your advertisement. You have a lot of choices on where to post, and the cost to do so are very different. You'll get a lot of opinions on the best job boards, and I've tried most of them. I'll give you my opinion, but again, your mileage may vary. Before you post, though, you might want to think about using a candidate tracking system. So what's a candidate tracking system, and why do you need it? The candidate tracking system gives you some excellent tools to help you manage the volume of candidates you want to get, and you should get because you did such a great job on your job advertisement. So what kind of tools do you get? You get a dedicated email address. This is a single-use email address for one particular job posting. You get a dedicated web page for this advertisement. This is where you'll be directing your candidates in the call to action for the ad. This will allow them to apply and attach to their resume. You get an autoresponder for each of the candidates that apply. Using an autoresponder is an excellent way to continue selling your position to the candidates that are now what I call warm leads. I use this autoresponder to tell the candidate about a little bit what to expect. I give them an overview of our hiring process. I also invite them to follow us on social media and visit our website. You get a careers widget. This is usually some JavaScript or something that you can include on your own company's webpage, and in minutes you'll have an up-to-date careers page on your website. I put a link to our careers page in the show notes at the itprovidernetwork.com/episode9. Candidate tracking. This is the biggest part of these systems. These systems basically give you stages that you can assign to your candidates. And if we continue the analogy of a lead, you can move the lead either forward in the process or archive them if they're not a fit. Each move to the candidate can have an automatic email to the candidate or to an internal person responsible for that particular step in your hiring process. So for example, in ours, we start out in the screening process, then we might go to testing, then we might go to a phone interview, then we might go to a face-to-face interview, then an offer letter, then either a hire or a decline. So that's kind of the stages we use for candidate tracking. With each one of those stages, you can also assign resources. So in our process, for example, as we get closer to the end of the process, we get more and more people involved as we have group interviews or maybe approval processes for particular hires. So resource assignment is another big part of a candidate system. As I mentioned, I use a tool called Recruiter Box, and I found it to be a big, big help in our recruiting process. We've used it for several years now, so I can honestly say that we get a lot of value out of it. You can find a link to it in the show notes and also a free trial. It starts at about $65 a month if you pay annually, or it's $90 a month if you pay monthly. And I'm not on any kind of affiliate program with them or anything. I just recommend it because it's a good product. So now we're ready to post to our job sites. And I briefly mentioned there's many, many choices for job boards. There's also a big difference in the pricing for these services. If I were you, unless you're in a real rural area, I would stay away from newspaper ads. I don't think many job seekers in our line of work are cruising the Sunday paper looking for jobs these days. So here's my top 5 job posting sites. The first one is Craigslist, and this one is controversial, but I've had decent results getting local technical people from Craigslist. Techies like Craigslist, and they monitor it. If you're not familiar with Craigslist, it's a classified ads website which operates in over 70 countries. It's got about 80 million advertisements on it each month, and it's geographically segregated. So if you live in the Philadelphia area, you're going to be searching the Philadelphia Craigslist. If you live in the Montreal area, you're going to search the Montreal Craigslist. Craigslist is a great place to post a job for little or no costs. In some areas, it's free. Most areas, it comes with $25 to $75 fee, which is peanuts for a job ad. So always post on Craigslist. It seems to work really well for me. It gets me a bunch of candidates. You are going to get some spam, just delete it. Or if you have a candidate tracking system, then you can deal with it in there. Indeed's another huge job posting website. 200 million people every month go there, so you get a ton of job seekers. Of course, this is a blessing and a curse. It puts your job advertisement in front of a large audience, but you also get a bunch of crappy applicants. Job postings are free. They allow you to be found in their search results. You can receive applications and even manage your candidates on Indeed. And it's free, so that's good. But your job's going to end up in a pretty big pool of every other free posting on Indeed. You can also sponsor your job on Indeed for a minimum of $5 a day. This puts your posting at the top of the search results above the free listings. So kind of think of it as Google AdWords with the organic search results below it. Your sponsored listing would be above it. I always post a free ad on Indeed, and most of the time I use a sponsored ad as well. We've had decent results with Indeed. The third one I want to talk about is LinkedIn. LinkedIn does what a real recruiter agency is supposed to do. Give you the ability to pull candidates from a pool of professionals that might not be actively looking for a job. This is really what a recruiter should bring value in when you hire a recruiter, but I have actually never seen that happen. Your mileage may vary with recruiters. I'm not a big fan. I've not really had great luck over the years, and I've spent quite a few dollars over the years with recruiters. LinkedIn is high priced, but it's also high quality. Jobs are presented to the LinkedIn users on the right-hand side of the page in a little area called jobs you may be interested in. You've probably seen that on your own LinkedIn page. Once your job is posted, you receive 50 free profile matches. So they try to match you up right away with people that might be interested in your job. And you also get 5 free in-mail messages. In-mail messages are messages that allow you to contact LinkedIn members that are not part of your network. So LinkedIn's a good option. And when you post on LinkedIn, you pay for your ad by setting a daily average budget. The actual amount you're charged depends on your daily budget and the number of job postings, but know that it can go twice as much as your daily budget, but it won't exceed your total budget. So it can be twice as much in any given day, but overall it won't exceed your total budget for the job. Your listings also expire after 30 days, so make sure you set yourself a reminder to repost it if your recruiting process is taking that long. The last one I want to talk about is ZipRecruiter. And ZipRecruiter is a service that basically blasts your job posting out to over 100 job boards and the social network sites. They charge an annual fee, so keep this in mind. You want to have more than one opening if you go with ZipRecruiter. They actually might have just changed this to include a monthly fee too, but I know when we used it, it was only an annual fee. There are different packages to choose from. All of them have a free trial. The service starts at about $250 a month for the starter plan, and that includes 3 job slots, so you can have 3 job postings at any one time. The next level up is the team package. I believe that's $350 a month, and that gives you 10 job slots. And then our top level plan is $1,200 a month. So if you need that plan, I'd like to talk to you. You must be doing something right, but that's 50 job openings. So one thing about these job posting sites is that if you're using a candidate tracking system like RecruiterBox, then you could post single jobs on these sites rather than buying a subscription. They've worked out deals with them so that they can automatically push your posting to them and you just pay the candidate tracking system, in my case, RecruiterBox. So much more affordable way to get the job out there. To give you an idea, if I want to do a 30-day ZipRecruiter traffic boost, the fee's only $90. So there's many other job posting sites out there, Glassdoor, Career Builder, Monster, a bunch of them. I've used a bunch of these in the past. Haven't had really great success. I've been flooded with a lot of unqualified applicants. So give it a try. I don't claim to be an expert on any of them, but your mileage may vary. I'm just not a big fan. So now you get your job posted. I don't want you to forget to go social and spread the word. You know, your personal network and the personal network of your employees is a great way to find new candidates. Publish it on your social media accounts, your company pages. Ask your staff to spread the word. If you're able to offer a referral bonus, now would be the time to let your team know about it. We offer a $300 referral bonus for anyone in our company that brings in our next hire. And this number, 300, has gone as high as 1,500, depending on the severity of the talent shortage we've had. In episode 5 of the IT Provider Network, we talk about tools for publishing content. Have a listen to that episode for some great time-saving tools. So that's it for episode 9 of the IT Provider Network. As I said in the beginning, in the next episode, I'm going to go over my process for testing and interviewing and share some of the techniques I've used for kind of slimming down the candidate pool so I'm not wasting my time. As always, I want to thank you for spending time with me today. If you think I'm adding value, please think about rating and subscribing to the podcast. I would truly appreciate it. And if you want to reach out to me, you can do that on the contact form at theitprovidernetwork.com. Thanks again and have a great day.
Thank you for joining us, and we hope you've been inspired. Check us out on social media via @ITProviderNet and visit us at www.itprovidernetwork.com for past episodes, show notes, videos, and more. And we hope you'll join Terry next time on the IT Provider Network.